Good afternoon คุณนีน่า
Good afternoon คุณชันชัย Good afternoon. So right now it is 3 o'clock, 3:10. So we have less than, let's say, 2 hours before the polling station closed at 5 p.m. Okay, so this morning we have seen many prime ministerial candidates came out and cast their vote, such as General Prayut Chan-o-cha, Tim Pita, and Pratongthan, or Kun Ung-ing from the Pheu Thai party.
Yes.
And as well as our...
And also a lot of people continue to come out and cast their vote throughout the afternoon amid the hot weather. Actually, the weather forecast said that we should expect to see some rain,
some shower,
but it didn't. And actually, that the weather is quite hot. But still, a lot of people come out and cast their vote. And actually, the election commission, they expected that this election going to see the turnout rate as high as 80%.
Exactly. Maybe the weather is as hot as Thailand's situation right now on the current general elections. But if this time, as you mentioned, that the EC chairman expect that the people who will come out to vote will turn out about 80%, which, if it is true, this one will mark the history of Thailand.
Yes, it's going to be the turnout rate for the highest turnout rate for Thailand election, because the highest that we have so far, the highest turnout rate is about 72%.
Which was during Kun Yingluck Shinawat when she was elected as prime minister.
Yes, and so it really showed that how Thai people are eager to participate in this election and to have their say, to have their vote of who is going to be the new prime minister.
This is actually a very exciting time for us, as after 5 p.m. when the polling stations close, then they will start to count the ballots by 6:30 p.m. and we will have an unofficial result by 10 p.m. today.
Yes. And about what will happen after the polling station is closed, let's talk to our guest this afternoon. Please welcome Associate Professor Dr. Jed Thonavanik, Chairman of the Faculty of Law at the College of Asian Scholars.
สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ Hello, Dr. Jed, can you hear us? Hello.
สวัสดีค่ะ Dr. Jade.
Look like we might have some
technical problems.
Okay, but never mind. So while we are waiting for Dr. Jade to hear us, let's talk a little bit more about this election.
So, did you go to vote this afternoon?
I did at 1 p.m. and it was very, very hot. And there are like maybe not too many people, but people just like keep coming. They come, drive their car, and then they park their car in the small parking lot nearby. And I see young people bring their parents, their elder, to come and vote as well, which is nice. Nice to see that young people and old people, they get together and come out and vote.
It's actually a whole family participation that, this time, as you mentioned before, the EC expects a voter turnout of 80%. So we can see that Thai people are very excited, young generations, previous generations.
Yes.
A little bit older generation, I would say.
Yes. And for this election, there are a total of 500 members of the House of Representatives that will be elected from today's vote. 400 of them will be chosen in the constituency election, and the other 100 will be elected from the national party list. And there are also a lot of high competition rate, because we have a total of 4,710 candidates that are competing for for the seat in the parliament?
Well, we will have to wait and see, as I mentioned earlier, that we will have an unofficial result. So whoever is going to be our next prime minister, maybe be someone young or someone is currently existing or someone from, Black Horse. We don't know, but whoever will be, I hope that he will or she will take Thailand to another step further.
And yes, and all the prime minister candidates, they seem to be very confident by the way that we talked to them this morning. And it seemed like Dr. Jet came back. Hello.
สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับ Dr. Jet. So can you tell us that after the polling station is closed at 5 p.m., what time can we expect to see the result coming in? Hello, Dr. Jet. Hello.
Dr. Jet, can you hear us?
I think my voice is gone again.
I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me? Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Well, you see, if you look at the polls up to now, we don't really know what will happen. But I think the numbers of the voters who come out is quite high, at least at this moment. The second thing is that considering the time of voting in the past, we only have until about 3:30. Now we have until 5. So the number of the people should be more, even for the expectation that is quite high. I think the reality might be a little bit higher if all the people are very willing and they're very exciting, and all the tones of everything join together in order to support that people would want to come out. And throughout the country, as you might have seen from the earlier election on the 7th, that many of the new voters are coming out, and normally they are from the university because they go to university outside of their hometown. So you can see that number is very high. Now that all the generations, you can see even the silent generation, they come out, and the alpha are also coming high. So XYZ, they all coming in a very high number. So you can see that those who were saying out of the polls that the numbers of the parties will gain the majority, you never know. Of course, there will be only one party that is the number one, but the majority can be a coalition of whomever that so far people were saying to join together and joining each other in order to form the government. Okay, so that we can, I think we might be able to see somewhat around 11 p.m. because if you have the unofficial numbers or the unofficial result, you might be able to guess through what the polls have been telling us and what people have been analyzing. So that's very interesting to see.
Well, so far so good from outside right now. Everything goes smoothly. Have you seen any irregularities from this morning up until now?
I think there have been some, at least when the EC was informing the public that there has been around 2,000 petitions that they were complaining about the election, but we don't know yet whether it's about administration of the election or it's about the voters, it's about the candidates, or what were all those really on, and whether or not those complaints will affect the election result. We will have to wait to see, but there has been some, not really that many, but see, 2,000, you might say, are you crazy to say 2,000 is not many? But you have to consider this, that we have about 90,000 ballots. So within the 90,000, you only have 2,000 complaints, that's very low. I mean, to a certain extent, and if that will affect the result of the election, that will not be so drastic, because in order to do something that will hurt the election or the election result, the problem must be around 5% or more than 5%. Because if 95% of the the candidate or the constituency plus the list is able to be pushed forward, then that's fine. Okay, but if it's more than 5%, that will be some of a problem. So now, about 2,000 complaints, as I gather so far, that's not a problem because it's only about like 2% something. Okay, we have another 2-3% to go.
Dr. Jet, I would like you to give us some brief forecast of, let's say, 3 main prime ministerial candidate scenario if they won the elections. I would like you to give a brief forecast on how Thailand is going to be under their government and what will change. I would like to first start with General Prayut and Chan Ocha first.
But
and then,
okay.
Yes, please
then,
go ahead.
No, I was about to say that in terms of General Prayut himself and his party, I think he might have to ask for some amazing miracle for him to once again become prime minister. I think one of the miracle that people have been saying that it's not surprised that if this miracle happens, which is the senators, all the senators are pulling together to support the minority. So that might be one of the miracle that General Prayut will be prime minister once again. Secondly, the conservative win so high a number that outnumber the liberal, putting all the liberals together to be less than 250. That means Pheu Thai combined with Gao Klai combined with Seri Ruam Thai down 250 to 240, 230, whatever. So that's quite a miracle because, as you've seen from the polls, as well as all the analysts, given all the chances of all the parties, including Rwam Thai Sang Chat of General Prayut, they don't have that number. Okay. Thirdly, it could be anything that in the end came to a situation in which General Prayut will have to once again be prime minister. That we don't know what. That will have to be like extreme miracle. So chance of General Prayut, I think, is very low as compared to any other candidates or the main candidates.
What do you think is going to be a significant change under his government again for Thailand?
I don't think we will have that much significant change in the sense that you're talking about what had happened in the past throughout the Prayut coalition and the Prayut administration. So I don't think under General Prayut things will change that much. Especially when the guy himself said that he's been doing good all along and he thinks in maintaining what he's done will be already good or will be one of the best that can be delivered. So I don't think there will be much to change.
Since we have limited time, sorry, Dr. Jet. So since we have limited time, I would like you to give us a brief forecast on Move Forward Party and also Pheu Thai Party, a scenario if both of them won the elections. What would it be? How Thailand's going to be, and what is going to be the main significant change for Thailand under their government?
It will be different. Let's see if Pheu Thai wins the election. That means Pheu Thai gain the highest number of votes.
Yes.
The change as compared to General Prayut's administration will be brought to this country. However, that will not be changing as compared to the earlier administrations. For example, the Pheu Thai under Yingluck administration, the Samak Sunthorawet administration, the Thaksin Shinawat coalition. Okay, because those people, they have been following pretty much the same policies. Pheu Thai, Pheu Thai is now still maintaining the good policies even from the time of Thaksin. And of course, it's not obsolete. Many of the things are still modern, and they add something more to that. However, the use of the budget will be very, very high. We might be in deep debt in the sense that many of the policies came from Pheu Thai, geared toward populist, very, very high and extreme populist policies using high fiscal each year. So that might be a change that you will see. Like lots of money will be running around. If Cao Kai wins, especially if Cao Kai wins in the extreme drastic, then the country might change very much, especially to the civil servant, to the civilian, to many walks of life, and to many of the institutions in this country, especially to the monarchy. They will be pushing forward reform to the monarchy, reform to the military, reform to the government officials. And it can be soon to be seen that if these people hit back, there might be a chaotic situation, and there can be the possibility, though low, of bloodshed. So we can find that later on.
And we have about 1 hour and 30 minutes left until the poll station is closed. And there is a high possibility that the turnout rate for this election could be as high as 80%.
Yes.
What does this number tell you?
See, this number tells you that people who sat back, relaxed at home, feel that they cannot do that no longer. If they leave the polls to others, then the result will be up to others. But now this is not the poll. If they leave the ballot up to others, then the reality will hit them. Therefore, they will have to come out. And it goes through all the generations. Like as I said, it comes from the silent generation. Of course, they are in their 80s, 90s. The baby boomers, they are in their 70s, 60s. These people are coming out. And XYZ, they are coming out. The alpha, they also want to do their first right. They also want to use their first time voting to be efficiently passed in order to change the country, as they think that the country has been in a sort of stagnation for such a long time. So they want to move them out. So in this sense, people are very, very enthusiastic in coming out to the ballot. It's different from the poll. Those people who did the poll might not be so willing to do them. And they might be reluctant to give real answer. But coming to the ballots, it's different. So you can see a very high number that I don't know, presumably 70% should be at least. 80% as the EC expected can be possible. And this will be the highest, ever since 1932 that we have our democracy and we have our first election.
Can we call this is a phenomena? And according to you, what is the significant meaning to this phenomena that everyone, every generations gather together and they are looking forward for this big change?
Yeah, I think the slogan of your show is right. Voting for the future. I think it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't even matter what generation you're in. And it doesn't even matter what political ideology you have. Everyone is seeking for the better future for themselves. Those who didn't want change want to seek for their better future. That means that they don't want change. They want their future to be as the present and as the past. The other people who want change, they want their future to be better in the sense that the future is not the same as the present and the present is not the same as the past. So they have different perspective on coming to vote, but all those perspectives accumulated into change of the future. So your slogan is right. They are voting for the future. And they're not voting to maintain what they have, but they vote to change what they don't have or what they don't like. Okay, so that's a led with something. And you can see that whatever happens, the country will not remain as the same. Okay, we might be able to now step over Thaksin, but I don't know. The new sort of Thaksin saga might come back if Pheu Thai gain high vote, but not through he himself acting as a forefront of the figure in politics, but he might be acting behind the curtain, or he might be having all other strategies in order to push the Pheu Thai forward, and he might be mingling with some of the technocrats as well as the other new technologies in order to bring many new things to not only election but to the government and to the coalition. So, and what will not change, I think you will see the coalition. I don't think you will see one party that will lead the government with like 300 some
Yes.
MPs. Okay, so that will remain pretty much the same. And I think the fight between the liberal and the conservative will not be milder. That might remain the same, but with a higher level, higher degree. And I don't know whether it will get out of hand and be violent. Hopefully not.
Okay, that's what a lot of people are worried about. That after the election, there are going to be more conflict because, like, some people might not be happy that the people that they supported didn't win, and there would be more conflict and arguments. Do you think that will be the case after this election, or do you think that Thai people are learning to be more cooperate and accepted other people, how do you say it, accepted other people victory?
Opinions. Respect the
Yes.
opinions of other people.
Well, I think Thai people are very open-minded indeed, but the I think the 3-4 years that went by, there have been indeed two of the occasions, and let's say put this in a very big chunk, that hit hard on Thai people, and maybe the level of respect and the level of acceptance can be very low. One of the things is the request for the change to the monarchy or anything related to the monarchy, especially reform to the monarchy, and all the impolite moves against His Majesty King Rama X. I think that caused very, very unhappy feelings, as well as many feel that they were hurt strongly. So I think that's very hard for them to accept, and they don't respect the way in which newcomers want change in a very violent way. The second thing is that the newcomers, the young generations, felt that they were closed down, they were hurt, and they were not being treated fairly by the older generations. They are also not happy with that, and they also feel that their feeling was hurt. So these two occasions, as I said, in a chunk, will cause a country to turn into a bigger conflicting ground. And I don't see that we will be better. All is pushing hard. As you may have seen from the last day of campaigning. Let's say General Prayut you've seen. What General Prayut through Rwam Thai Sang Chat was trying to tell the public. Do you want change like this? Do you want change like that? Do you want the change that will hurt you? On the other hand, Cao Klai also say we will bring about change. We will do over with this, with that, with those. So they are like hitting each other hard. So I don't think we will see less conflict. I think we will see more conflict, and we will see harder situation in order to set up dialogue to talk if things remain the same. But if each of them, or if the conservative as well as the liberal, especially Gao Kai and the others, are willing to step back a little bit, I think that may ease off the tension. Otherwise, we soon to see a little bit, if not more or much of the conflict. And it might be resulting in a violent. I don't know how bad can it be. Just as I said, it can be bloodshed if they don't stop at a particular degree. It's like we are pushing each other towards the cliff. If anyone is pushed beyond the cliff, then it's a bloodshed arena.
Hopefully we don't come to that.
I hope
I mean,
so too.
conflict and argument is okay as long as it doesn't turn into violence.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's right.
Hopefully
And
they
if
can
they-
form
if
the
they-
government peacefully.
If you date back to, I think, what year is that? I think 1975, 1976, around there in this country. After 1973, in 1973, this country underwent a very deep sorrow bloodshed. 3 years after that, 1976, because of all those people who thought they had democracy in their hands, they use democracy. So they use democracy in a sense that is so deliberately changing in a way in which it hits many traditional realms of this country. The soldiers came out through Admiral Sangat Chaloyu. That was a very unfair bloodshed, at least to the demonstrators, the students. And nothing has been done with that up to now. And the laws went to all those demonstrators, especially the students. They didn't win like in 1973. Because of what? Because one of the problem was people felt that they were trying to abolish the monarchy. They were trying to do away with His Majesty the King. So I don't want this time, once again, especially for Gao Kai, to be pushing that hard. And again, something like that happened. Because Admiral Sangat Chaloyu lived his life very, very peacefully. Nothing hurt him. Okay, I don't want that to happen. And I don't want this country to have that sort of bloodshed again, or not even violence. Okay, so we have to be very careful.
Mhm.
Of course, it's
So I
not
believe-
right. It's just like people were saying that might is not right, right is might. Yes, correct. But you see, when you talk to people who have gun, and when they are not reasonable, when they are irrational, things can go wrong. You just have to, just as I did, it's not right for them to do so. But sometimes it happens.
So I believe every change is crucial, but it has to be done creatively and carefully.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And we have to see, we have to join hands in hands. If you want change to this country, just as I said, if you are in your generation alpha, you are not living in this country alone. And you might not survive too long. You might be dying. A majority of the alpha generation, sorry to say this, might be dying sooner than the Z generation, the Y generation, the X generation. You might not, for many of the alpha generation, outlive the baby boomers. That happened. And look at the number. Now the society is an aging society. That means more of the old people are coming in, coming out, moving into the country, moving out of the country. You might also have foreigners who want to live in this country and change their nationality into Thai because they want peaceful life in this country. So the number of old people might be accumulating to a very high level. So when you are saying that you are young, you are all the people who will be leading this country in the future, you have to think about population-wise. What's the number that you have now? Your number might be very low in the future. So this winning, if you win, might not be lasting long. So you just have to be courteous about that.
Mhm. Thank you very much, Dr. Jade, for this insightful information.
Thank you very much.
Thank you ครับ
สวัสดี
Take
ค่ะ
good care everybody
สวัสดีครับ So for those of you who haven't go and vote yet, you still have 1 hour and 20 minutes.
You're counting.
Yes, because the poll station will close at 5 and we will coming back at 5 p.m. to our reporters at many of the polling station to see the atmosphere after
Right.
the station is closed.
So stay tuned for the Nation Live report after 5 p.m. and we will get in touch with our field reporters out there.
Okay.
So
See
stay
you
tuned.
again.
See you at 5 p.m. สวัสดีค่ะ